IT used to have a mystique about it, if you will. IT is a commodity today. There's nothing, the magic is gone. What it was in the 70s and the 80s, it's no longer, now it's a utility. It's just supposed to be there. I don't want to know all these gruesome details, but I expect the thing to be there, and I expect it to work. It's a commoditized item. And the problem with commodities are, you don't get a special amount of money for them. They're cheap. And so IT is confronted with this issue of, I've been devalued, if you will. How do I become relevant again, or how do I get things done for the company? So you're really trying to, deal with these comments, and everybody wants a free lunch. I mean, when I go in there, I hear people say, hey, give us the software for free, or reduce your maintenance, or whatever. It's always about money. Everybody talks about wanting to be about the business. It's always about the money. And the problem is, IT really, it shouldn't be just about the money. It should be about what money IT can bring into the company. But the reality is, the dollars go for taking care of really the core systems that are out there today. 75% of the budgets are allocated to the database systems, the ERP systems, transaction systems, depending upon what some companies may do. There's very little left for new application development, and yet that's where the real value can come in. The other stuff, it's not a differentiator. So what you end up with is a problem. Classic IT deals with all these complex applications, but yet the business users, they're out there saying, I want these new things done, and the answer is, I don't have time to get around to them. So you get this long tail of small, lightweight applications that never get written. And even if IT had the resources, what you find in a lot of companies is that the mindset is such that if they come after a small app to develop it for you, it's like using a hydrogen bomb to kill an ant. By the time you look at the amount of money and the number of people and the processes that are going to be spent to develop that, you'll say, well, there's no ROI on this thing. It's so negative, forget it. We're not going to go there. It's not going to happen. So, but nonetheless, the business users still want it out there. Now, the interesting thing, I kind of looked at this curve and I said, well, if I flip this thing around and I kind of mirrored it, and I said, all of a sudden, I've got this sort of spiky thing, which, going back to my old psychology days, I said, man, this is Maslow's hierarchy of needs here. I said, you got classic IT living down here in the bottom of things. There's air and water and sleep, and that's it. And that's all they've got the resources for. And all your competitors, they're all in the same boat. So doing that gets you nowhere. That's the ante to get in the game. So how can you use IT for competitive advantage? You've got to go upstream. Well, that's the long tail of applications. That's one of the places where you can get out of the low-level things and actually differentiate yourselves. So the real goal, if you want to talk about IT aligned with the business, is do some apps that not everybody else is doing. Bring some value into the company. That's where you want to be.